What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Let's talk about some baseball scores from yesterday. Diamondbacks beat the Tigers 7-5. Arizona's red hot. They have won 5 in a row. They're 15 games over 500. Tigers are really short. They have lost 9 in a row. I knew they'd be bad, but they have really struggling. 9 straight losses. Chris Warner go-ahead double with 2 outs in the 9th inning. While Corbin Carroll was a homer short of a cycle, he drove in a run. And after the National League Rookie year, I think is either him or Francisco Alvarez, the catcher from the Mets. But as much as I hate to say as a Met fan, probably is Corbin Carroll. He has been incredible. You see why he got that big contract extension before he even stepped on the field, or maybe you think he, after only put 30 or 40 games last year, he is something else. Arizona's got a really good young team. They're having a breakout year. Guardians show out the Astros 5-0, 7 shutouts from Shane Bieber in that one. Orioles over the Royals 11-3. Royals have been absolutely atrocious. They are 18-47. Yikes. From the Royals is offensively, their lineup is horrible. I remember I shared a graphic with you guys live. I think it's when I was still had the studio up at school at my college at Sacred Heart. They had at one point they had 9 or 10 guys hitting 200 or worse or something like that. I don't think it's that bad anymore, but still they're offensively they're absolutely horrible, and their pitching isn't that great either. It's obviously not a recipe for success. Gunnar Henderson home run in the game, a guy who I thought could be a rookie of the year candidate in the American League this year. Hasn't had a great rookie year, one of the top prospects in baseball coming into the year, but he hit a home run last night. Orioles continue the roll 41-24. They've had a great year. It's nice to see a lot of teams that, in recent years have not been very good have come out of nowhere this year and have really good years. Arizona, Baltimore, Texas. And then you got a lot of teams that have been mid that we thought would be really good. The Padres, the Mets, the Phillies. You argue the Yankees haven't been as good as we thought they could be. It's been a very wild year so far in MLB. Philly beat the Dodgers 7-3. You had Nationals over the Braves 6-2. Dom Smith and Yammer Candelario each hit home runs. Braves 7-game win streak is snapped. Washington's their 6-game losing streak. Pirates beat the Mets 2-1. Aiden McCutcheon got his 2,000th career hit. He got a nice standing ovation since they're playing in Pittsburgh. He's a cool story. Obviously, he had those great years in Pittsburgh. Then he bounced around for a while. If he goes back to Pittsburgh this year, he's had a really good season this year for the Pirates. He's been hitting leadoff for them. Mitch Keller, just a 1-run, 2-throw, 7 innings. The Mets continue to struggle. They have just been terrible. They've lost 8 of 9, and I think I might need to make a change. They've just been terrible. So embarrassing at this point. And now, look, and they had such an easy schedule playing all these teams. They played the Rockies. They had 2 series against the Rockies. They played the Nationals. They beat Oakland. They played them. They did sweep them, obviously. Like every team in the league is probably swept Oakland A's. They played all these bad teams, and they were mediocre. And now they got to start playing some better teams. They got the Yankees coming up. I think they may have Houston coming up. Mixing there is St. Louis, who's struggling this year, and then Philly, who they swept a week or two ago, and they're not playing great. But now, they that if you looked at the best schedule, at the beginning of the year, as a Mets fan, you would think you'd be jumping up and down. In the beginning of the year, look at all these bad teams are playing: Washington, Colorado, Miami, Oakland, and obviously the Phillies haven't played well this year, and to be 31-35 is basically embarrassing. And now you got the Yankees and Houston coming up. I've double checked my Houston. I may have read the schedule wrong, but I know they start shooting with the Yankees tomorrow. Somebody's here. I think it might be only 2 games though. Blue Jays beat the Twins 7-6. Kevin Biggio with a home run in that game. Twins come back without 5 runs in that one. Rays beat the Texas Rangers 7-3. Shane McClanahan, first pitcher to 10 wins this year. He's probably the Cy Young in the American League if the season ends today. Marlins over the White Sox 6-5. Brian De La Cruz with a 2-run double in that one. Marlins come from behind to beat the White Sox 6-5. White Sox were really struggling this year, just 29-38. Marlins having a really good year. 37-29 are only a few games behind Atlanta for first in the National League East. They're playing some really good baseball. Obviously, the Luis Arias, He's flirting with a 400 batting average. See what happens there. Athletics beat the Brewers 8-6. The Athletics swept the Brewers. The Oakland Athletics have won 5 straight games, and they swept the Milwaukee Brewers. Their first series sweep of the season gets them to 17-50. So now they're only 33 games over. They're only 33 games under 500. Gets them to 17, so they inch closer to 20 wins. Something. I'm more concerned about the Brewers. I don't know what the heck's going on over there. Get swept by the Athletics. That's wild. But yeah, last week the Brewers, they win 8-6. Reds over the Cardinals 4-3. Ellie De La Cruz. He flashes speed in that one. That kid's something else. He's very, very exciting to watch. Rockies over the Padres 5-4. I don't know what is wrong with the Padres. I picked them to win the World Series here. This team was stacked. Their lineup was absolutely insane. You bring in Bogart, you got Soto, you got Machado, all these stars over there. We knew they had Tatis coming back by some point in May. I'll see he's back. The rotation looked pretty good with Snell, Musgrove, who was hurt to start the year. We knew they get him back. Some point early on in the season. Yu Darvish, good bullpen. Yeah, a great manager in Bob Melvin. They had everything you can need. 31-34. They're no different than the Mets. The Rockies pick up a win. You got the Giants all over the Cubs, 13-3. Giants been playing much better. Got to a really tough start. Now they're flirting with 500 or a game over. Cubs have been terrible, 28-37. I thought they could be like a sneaky contender. Maybe could sneak into the postseason, compete in National League Central, which I knew would not be very good. I didn't think it would be this bad, but I didn't think it would be very good, and they're 9 games under 500. Been a little bit disappointing. Not gonna lie, I think they might need a new manager. I think David Ross is an overrated manager. I think he's a great guy. He had a nice career. Obviously, that was a great moment. There was Game 7 of the World Series when he hit that home run. If you've seen that video of him dissecting how he knew the pitch that was coming, it's absolutely crazy. He's a very smart baseman, and he's a really good ESPN analyst, but I think he might need to go back to ESPN. I think he's an overrated manager. I don't think he's that great of a manager. And the Angels beat the Mariners 9-4. Angels have been playing pretty well. 36-31. Mariners have been a disappointment here. First playoff berth in over 20 years last year. Of course, and they win their first round series over Toronto. This year, 2 games under 500 have regressed. And the Red Sox beat the Yankees 3-2 in 10 innings. Kiki Hernandez with the game-winning hit in the 10th. In the top of the 10th, the Yankees have been struggling. Their offense without Judge has been flat. With Judge in the lineup this year, they're averaging 5 runs per game and his team hitting 240. Without him, they are averaging just like 3.2 or 3.3 runs per game. Their offense is really struggling without average Judge in the lineup where he's at with that toe injury. And their record without Judge is just 8-10. So the Red Sox, who were struggling coming in, still only 500 for the season, take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, and of course, what is the best rivalry in all of baseball. Talk about the standings. You got an AL East. Rays continuing to have the best record in baseball, 48-20 on the year. Baltimore in second, they're 5.5 out at 41-24. Yankees at 38-29. They're hanging in there. I've dealt with injuries all year. Still hanging there, playing decent baseball, but they really miss Aaron Judge. Browns 37-30. You got the Red Sox at 500, 33-33 are in last place in that division. That division is loaded. American League Central, Twins at 500 in first place. The other day, they were a game under 500. They were in first place. American League Central is looking a lot like the NFC South last year for NFL when the Bucs won the division at 8-9. Cleveland is 3 games under 500. They're a game and a half out. White Sox 29-38. Only 4.5 games out of the division. The Tigers were 26-37. I just said that they're a terrible baseball team, and they have lost 9 straight games, and they're 5.5 games out of the division. For a team that has never been in first place this year, to lose 9 games and still be 5.5 games out of the division, that says something about the division. And you got the Royals 18-47, they've lost 9 of 10, 6 in a row. They are absolutely terrible. Texas Rangers 41-23, playing great baseball, second best record in the American League right now. They have a 5-game lead over the Houston Astros in the American League West. They actually got to a bit of a mediocre start. Had a lot of injuries to their starting pitchers, of course. Now down Yordan Alvarez, who's one of their best players. But been playing great baseball of late. They've gotten back on track. Got the Angels at 36-31. They're hanging in there. If they want to have a snowball chance in heck of Ohtani staying, they gotta get into the postseason. If you ask me. At Seattle at 2 games under 500. They're slumping. They're now 5 games out of a playoff spot, and Oakland is 1750. That's after winning 5 games in a row. But I don't know what the heck is even happening in Oakland. That for me is a disaster. Whole trying to move to Vegas thing, dumpster fire. National League East, you got Atlanta 40-25, Miami 37-29. Only 3.5 games behind the Braves, and are tied with the Dodgers for the first wildcard spot in the National League. The Phillies at 32-33, playing a little bit better. Mets 31-35, have lost 8 of their last 9. They are struggling as much as you can be. Season's not over, only 3 games out of a wild card, but they have been a major disappointment. And the Washington Nationals are at 26-38. I said a week or two ago, like they wasn't that bad as I thought. They were kind of hanging in there. Now they're starting to really, fall off. National League Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates are in first place. If I told you, or if someone told me, or anybody told anybody that the Pittsburgh Pirates would be in first place on June 12th, I think the person that was being told this would have called the police on the other person, or checked them into a sub-psych ward. That's crazy. 34-30. It's good to see the Pirates turning around. They got the Brewers at 34-32. They've been struggling. They got some injuries to their pitching staff. I know they got that guy Mitchell's one of their Harris, who's hitting the ball really well. The Lions definitely missed him. They got some injuries. Reds 31-35 have been quite as bad as we thought they'd be. Only 4 games out of the division and 3 games out of the playoffs. But the Cubs at 28-37, 6.5 games out. You would think a team with that record would be a little further out. And the St. Louis Cardinals are in last place in National League Central. That is crazy. Can you believe they're in last place? They are really, really struggling right now. They have not pitched well at all. And it's been a tough go for the Cardinals. They got to get Ollie Marmol out of a job. He is a terrible manager. I don't care what anybody says. He is not a good manager at all. He's terrible. This division that's 4 games over 500. The Cardinals got all those players they got, and they're 8 games out. That's terrible. National West, Arizona in first place. Who thought we'd see that? 40-25. I thought they'd be a little better this year, but I didn't think they'd make the playoffs yet. They're still a year or two away. They're having a great year. Dodgers 3.5 games out, 37-29. Giants 33-32, playing a little bit better. Have gotten back to 500. And what's going on in San Diego? 31-34. 9 games out of division, 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. And then you got the Colorado Rockies at 27-40. That's baseball. P. Alonso's timeline was revealed over the weekend. He's out 3 to 4 weeks, so a really tough break for the Mets, who can't seem to catch a break right now. But on to hockey. Stanley Cup final game 4 was the other night, and the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Florida Panthers 3-2. Chandler Stevenson with 2 goals, a goal and an assist from Mark Stone. Golden Knights will be 3-1. Game 5 will be in Vegas tomorrow night. They had a chance to close that and win their first Stanley Cup in the team's history, in only, I believe, the 6th season of their team's history. The Calgary Flames find a new head coach. They promoted their assistant coach, Ryan Huska, to the head coach position. His press conference, I believe, is actually today. He was a player. He was drafted, I think in like the 3rd round or something, by the Chicago Blackhawks. Never really played. Only played 1 career game in NHL. He was basically a minor league player for 9 or 10 years. He became the assistant coach in the WHL for about 3 seasons, in 2007. Then in 2009, he became the head coach in WHL through 2013. He was a WHL coach. He won 1 WHL championship, and he went to the Memorial Cup and lost. Then he became the Calgary Flames AHL head coach in 2014. Did that for 4 seasons, and since 2018, he's been the assistant coach for the Calgary Flames, and now he's the head coach. I like and don't like this. I like this because I like seeing young assistants get chances to be head coach. So the same retreads over and over again. So it's cool to see a guy. He playing for didn't really work out. Was basically a AHL player for almost a decade. Then, coached him in WHL, had success there. Then, was a minor league coach. Then became an assistant coach. Then gets a head coach job. I really think the Flames need to change. I don't think they should have promoted. They should have made an in-house promotion. But we shall see what happens. In basketball, we got the Toronto Raptors have hired Grizzlies assistant coach Darko Rajakovic to be your next head coach. Again, I'm not too familiar with him, but he's been under Taylor Jenkins for a couple of years, and Taylor Jenkins is one of the best coaches in the league. Raptors got a young team over there. We'll see if he can unlock this team's potential, which pretty much all us confused why they were regressing, being last year they were the 6th team in the Eastern Conference. Looked like they were on the upswing, and then this year they barely even made the play-ins, and then you lose in the first round of the play-ins. Tough year for them, but Darko Rajakovic is the next head coach. The Golden State Warriors are looking to reconstruct their roster. They are not actively shopping Jordan Poole, but does not mean it's impossible for him to be traded. Looking to reconstruct their roster. Pretty much anybody besides Stephen Curry is available, which I'm not even against that. That team needs to make changes. I think Draymond needs to go. He's not the same player anymore. He's still a good defender, but not the defender he once was. And he can't give you anything at all offensively anymore. He's older. He's always getting run in his mouth. You got. I think Clay should be a guy to look to trade. As crazy as that sounds, he's just not the same player anymore. He was terrible in the second round of the playoffs. He had 10 points or less in each of the last 3 games. He was terrible. I don't think he's the same player anymore. They should give him an extension. Absolutely not. I trade him. He's due $46 or $47 million. I think he's a free agent next year. I move him. Poole. I think Poole's really overrated. I don't think he's that good, to be honest. He's a guy who last year had a great year. Got that big $120 million contract, and this year I did not think was that good. I think he at the very least, I think it works best for both sides. Poole needs a fresh start, make somewhere he can play a little more to see if he can showcase his potential and play a little better. And the Warriors just need to move his contract because he is just not, so far, has not been worth that contract. And you look at the other pieces, I like Wiggins. He also did a lot of personal stuff this year, but I'm glad he was able to get everything sorted out and come back and play with the Warriors at the end of the season. I'd probably keep him for now, but at this point, the Warriors need to retool. This is not the same team as won 4 championships in the last decade. And Steph's getting older. He's 35 years old. He is not going to play that much longer. Just realistically. Look, Steph's an all-time great. I think the second greatest point guard of all time. I know some people think he's better than Magic after what he did this year, but I don't think he is. But I think he's the second greatest point guard to ever play a game. I think he's at least a top 15, if not top 10 player of all time. His resume speaks for himself. Greatest shooter ever. First Battle Hall of Fame. We could have put him in 5 years ago, but he's not. Doesn't have. He only. Realistically only has probably he's only going to do this for. I mean, most guys wouldn't be able to do this anymore. Steph's all different breed, generational talent. He might do this for another couple of years, another 2 or 3 years, but not everyone can be a Michael Jordan. Not everyone can be a LeBron James. Not everyone can be a Larry Bird and be 35, 38, 39 years old and still being one of the league's best players. I still think Steph has lost a slight step, but he is still a top 10 player in the league. Still is the most dangerous shooter in basketball. But the Warriors, I think this is their last chance. Obviously, Bob Myers, the GM, put this whole thing together after 12 years, stepped down. I heard owner Joe Legup's is gonna promote within the organization. Mike Dunleavy they have there is going to get a promotion. Both his kids are in the organization. Kirk Legup, I think he might have another kid in the organization. They're going to promote Kirk Legup as well. But change needs to be made at Golden State. Otherwise, they're good. They're a team that's going to be a first and second round exit basically until Steph retires. And when he does, there'll be nothing. Going to football, Danielle Hunter is holding out. Edge rusher for the Vikings. He had 10 sack season last year, getting a little older, but still a really good pass rusher. he said multiple times throughout the offseason he wants a contract extension. Him and the Vikings haven't been able to agree on one, so he's holding out. Vikings have lost a lot of pieces. You cut Adam Thielen, who outside of Randy Moss and Chris Carter, maybe the best receiver in the history of the Minnesota Vikings. He's like top 3 in every receiving category in Vikings history. You just cut Dalvin Cook, who's obviously one of the best running backs in the league. Just cut him. They cut Kendrick, your longtime linebacker, who's still a very good player. And now they might be looking to they trade Darius Smith to Cleveland for nothing basically. They got a 6th-round pick back just a year after giving him a 4-year contract. He had 10 sack season last year. Now Danielle Hunter could be on his way out. Could he be a guy who gets traded? I heard there were still offers on him, so we shall see what happens. Saquon Barkley is also holding out. He has not signed his franchise tender yet. He wants a long-term deal. Giants All-Pro back. Who happens there? But see, Budda Baker, the Arizona Cardinals star safety who requested a trade a while back, he is in the building for minicamp, despite requesting a trade. All right, not too much left for you guys. I just want to one more report on the PGA Live merger. Apparently, something Jay Monahan said in that meeting that he realized that the PGA could not outspend Live. This is just how much that Live was paying their golfers. They stole from the PGA Tour, basically, and how much the purses were and how much the winners of the events were getting. They just couldn't compete with that. Especially since on the Live Tour, you're playing the 3-day events, not 4-day events. And you're playing in less events overall. So they said, let's merge and just end this. Amanda Nunes announced retirement, the greatest women's UFC fighter of all time, and I would say one of the 10 greatest UFC fighters of all time, just all together. She announced her retirement after she defended her featherweight belt. She's an all-time great, 23-5 career record. She is the only woman to hold a UFC title bout in 2 weight classes simultaneously, and the 3rd fighter ever. Only other 2 who have done it are Conor McGregor and Daniel Cormier. And she's like a 2-time featherweight champion. She's won the bantamweight title a bunch of times. I think 2, maybe even 4 times. One of the all-time greats. Definitely the greatest women's UFC fighter of all time. She passed Ronda Rousey, I would say, at least a few years ago. And when it comes to the greatest UFC fighters of all time, including the men too, all these guys, Chuck Liddell, McGregor, who I don't have that high, but maybe in the top 10. Chuck Liddell, all these guys, Cormier. I think she belongs in that category as well. One of the all-time greats, she announced her retirement. UFC fighters take so much punishment. They retire really, really young. She's only 35 years old, and she's retired. I mean, in UFC money talks, you never know. Like Conor McGregor say he's retired. He's done a couple of fights. Maybe in a year or 2, someone will call some hotshot new woman's UFC fighter will call out Amanda Nunes, and she'll be like, you know what, let's do this, and she'll get herself in shape and fight her. But she, at least for now, she's retired. And Novak Djokovic, he won the French Open the other day, and that is his 23rd career major, and that he breaks the record for the most major championships for any male tennis player ever. Djokovic, one of the all-time greats, arguably the greatest of all time. He's tied with Serena Williams for the 2nd most Grand Slam titles ever, and he is 1 short of Margaret Court for the most Grand Slam titles of all time. I would not be surprised by the end of this calendar year, he has the all-time record of 25. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.